Today we're gonna be smoking up some tri-tip on the Pit Boss Vertical Pellet Smoker. Woo. I've gotten a lot of requests for this one, so I went online and ordered one of these. It's a really popular cut of meat over on the West Coast, not available here in the Midwest, at least not where I shop, but now we've got one here in Cleveland. Woo. For today's smoke, we're gonna use these pecan pellets. They put off a real nice mild smoke. Now let's take a look at the tri-tip. All right, so this is about a 2.5 pound tri-tip. I think this was $55 on Snake River Farms website. So let me just cut this open real quick and see what we're working with. Okay. This out of here. Nice. Wow. Get rid of this bag. So if you look, we got some nice marbling, nice fat running through there. A little bit of silver skin left on. On this side, it's pretty well trimmed. So yeah, this looks good. I don't think I'm gonna trim anything off of here. Let's get it seasoned up. So I'm just gonna use a couple ingredients here. First is some Worcestershire sauce. I'm gonna use that as a little bit of a binder. This Pit Boss Competition Smoked. I love this stuff. It's got garlic and onion, dehydrated maple syrup, all kinds of good spices. I really like this. And then a new rub. This is Head Country's original rub. A lot of really good seasonings in here as well. So first things first, let's get some of this Worcestershire down there. Okay, we're just gonna drizzle it on like so. Nothing scientific about this. Woo. Just rub it all in. Then I'm gonna take my Competition Smoked rub. It's got a nice hickory flavor to it as well. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's real chunky or granular. We're not going to be able to build up a bark on this today because it's not going to take very long, maybe 2 hours at the most, but we'll get some good flavor out of it. All right, next up is this Head Country rub. Get that on real nice. I don't want to go too heavy. I really want to taste how this meat is. I've never had tri-tip before, so look at that. That looks awesome. Woo. Same thing with this underside. And because this is the fattier of the two sides, this will go facing down towards the heat source. A little bit of this Head Country on top of that. All right, and since I am gonna monitor this temperature today, I wanna cook this to a medium rare. So I'm gonna get my meat probe in here, right about the thickest part. All right, so that's it, nice and simple. I'm gonna have the smoker set at 250 degrees today, so I know in general it's gonna cook between 225 and 250 inside the pit, plus or minus a few degrees. The water pan is full. I'm using pecan pellets, and just as an experiment, for about the last 2 hours I've had a bulb of garlic kind of smoke roasting in there. We'll take a look at that because I want to make some garlic butter to go with this at the end. So let's get it in the smoker. Alrighty, let's take a look at that garlic real quick. Look at that, starting to take on some smoke. Ooh, nice and soft in the middle. So I'll be ready to pull this off pretty soon. Let me put this to the side. Okay, here's the tri-tip. I'm gonna go with the fattier side down. Windy day today. There we go, let's get the door closed. And we're gonna let this cook until it reaches an internal temperature of about 130. Then I'm gonna take it out and give it a quick sear. Woo. And then it'll be time to eat. Woo. We don't have long to go. That tri-tip's been cooking for about an hour. And if you look, it's at 116 degrees right now. So let's make some garlic butter. I wanna brush it on the tri-tip before I put it on the grill. and then we can use the leftovers as a dipping sauce if you want. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so right here, this is just 1 stick of butter that I put in the microwave to melt it. Here's our garlic. So this was in the Pit Boss smoker at 250 degrees for about 2.5 hours. Just gonna cut this tip off. And if you look at the color of that in there. Look how nice and mushy that is. Woo. So I'm just gonna squeeze this out right through the paper. Look at that just coming out. It's like a smoky garlic paste. Just squeeze it all out of there. Oh, that's incredible smell. Oh my God. Just get this fork. I got a little bit of paper in there, no big deal. Just grab it with the fork, get it out of there. Come on. All right, now I'll just take my fork, kind of mash it up and stir it. Whisk it in. See that there? We need to really mush that down and break it in. You know what? Since I got some gloves out here, I'm gonna mash it with my hands with the glove on there. Get that little bit of paper off. Come on. Use your hands. There we go. Much easier this way. All right, so we have an internal temperature of 127 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Target temperature between 130 and 135. So I'm gonna pull it off now because we need a couple minutes to get some good sear marks on the grill. So grill's heating up right now. Let me get it on the cutting board. We'll brush some butter on it, then we'll get it onto the grill. All right, so I took it off at 127. We had a 2-degree carryover. We're at 129. You can see what kind of color that got. That was an hour and a half at 250. So I'm just gonna mix up my garlic butter. And let's brush it on there. You can see that the butter's kind of cooled down a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna go nice and liberal. Woo. God, this is gonna be good. I can't wait. Okay, and then we can just butter the underside when this is on the grill. So let's get it on the grill. Okay, it's up to about 450. Now lay it down like so on an angle. Make sure we press it in. Not so hard that we're squeezing all the juice out. We just want to make sure we get some good sear marks. Close the lid. We're going to let that go for about a minute. All right. Look at that. Woo, beautiful. So we'll just give it a little quarter turn. All we're doing is trying to get a little char flavor on here. So we'll go another minute. Alrighty. And real quick, let's get a little more butter on this guy. This is on that underside. A little bit of garlic butter. Alrighty, look at that. I think some of that garlic burned on us, but that's okay. Or the rub. So we'll just go about 2 minutes on that side and then we'll get it off and cut it up. All right, here's some handheld camera action. Just want you guys to see what this looks like coming right off the grill. We're gonna let it rest for about 10-15 minutes, but that looks absolutely to die for. Can't wait to cut into this. I'm fixing to cut this thing up. It's been resting about 10-15 minutes. Change of background, I'm just trying to use the sunlight here. Let's cut into this. I think I'm gonna cut this into 3 pieces here. Let's see how that side looks. All right, pretty good, pretty good. Doesn't look that pink, but hey, look at all that juice coming out. Hard to believe I could have overcooked this with a thermometer in there. Could also be my sunglasses. We'll let you guys be the judge. I'll cut this piece here. Man, that looks good. Juicy, juicy. So I'm gonna go across the grain. Cut up some slices. Wow. It smells really good. There's a couple of nice rubs we put on in the beginning. Then that homemade smoke roasted garlic. Get this on a plate if I can. All right, so I got some tri-tip, woo, all on a plate here. Let me get myself a nice slice. I've got 2 different dipping sauces. I got the juice on the board, and I've got the garlic butter. But let me just try a piece without anything. Cut a slice off. Wow, that is so beefy. Can't quite explain it. I've never had it before, but that is really good. Soft, full of flavor. I mean, that garlic butter, obviously that's gonna be delicious, but the rubs helped out too. We use pecan smoke. Let me get another bite. That is really good. Reminds me of like a London broil, but better. Somewhere between a London broil and like a strip steak. So that is fantastic. I'll definitely be doing that again. Hey, if you like this tri-tip video, you're gonna love one of these 2 right there. Check it out, and I'll see you over there.